That everyone is here today, and I'm especially thankful that the governor is here to assess the damage that has been experienced here in Monroe County and our neighboring counties as well. As everyone knows, this area has been ravaged by tremendous problems with lake levels, and the damage has been widespread throughout the county of Monroe. I want to first thank all of our government partners who are here today, who have done just terrific work throughout this whole event. First of all, I want to thank all of the town supervisors who are here, who have worked cooperatively with the state and certainly the county as well to help our residents in need. I want to thank Mayor Warren as well, and I also want to say a special thank you to our sheriff for providing manpower to help us through the situation. I also want to say a big thank you to Governor Cuomo for providing us with the sandbag equipment and almost 150,000 sandbags that we have either used or will be using to help our residents in need. This is a time for us to stand shoulder to shoulder to address the needs of our residents, our businesses, and the entire shoreline of Lake Ontario and its tributaries as well. I want to thank again the governor for coming here to witness firsthand the devastation experienced by this community and to lend his support to all of us. We can count on the governor and is here standing with us, addressing the situation. Thank you very much to Governor Cuomo for being here. It is now my pleasure to introduce the governor of the state of New York, Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you. It's once again my pleasure to be with the county executive and the mayor. And I do applaud them both for their handling of this situation. Let's give them a round of applause. And I'm sorry for all the hardship the residents who are affected by the Lake Ontario flooding are going through right now. We just did a tour, and there's no doubt that homeowners are nervous, and many of their homes are being impacted with flooding. And flooding, I've been through this several times. It does tremendous damage to a home, and it's not easily resolved. So we understand the severity of the situation. Lake Ontario is the highest it's been in over 20 years. It's risen 25 inches since the beginning of April. Army Corps of Engineers project that the lake will continue to rise another 3 inches by May 28th. If that happens, if that projection comes true, it'll make this situation even worse. In a situation like this, preparation is key, and getting ahead of the situation is key. Once the damage occurs, then you're playing cleanup. So the best course is to get ahead of it and to be prepared. Several steps we're going to take. I'm appointing today a Lake Ontario response team that consists of the National Guard, Department of Homeland Security, DEC, Department of Environmental Conservation, Office of General Services, and the State Police. They will work with the city and the county in coordinating all response. The state police will be part of that task force. We'll invite the sheriff's office to be part of that task force. Second, we are now accumulating in this area equipment from all across the state. So if the flooding does get worse, we'll have the equipment here. The equipment that we're accumulating consists of towers, hoses, barriers, generators, pumping equipment, high-axle vehicles, Zodiac boats, pumps, which will be all in a regional stockpile, which will be in Monroe, but will be easily accessed, again, if we need it. Third, we're going to have a number of state police on alert and available if the situation requires it. We have National Guard people now who are on site, who are working on sandbagging, and the National Guard will have 300 people on call in case we need it, and again, we hope that we don't. Fourth, I am declaring a state of emergency today. What that allows are state agencies more flexibility and speed in actually being responsive to the situation. For example, the Department of Environmental Conservation, if you need a permit to direct the stream or do some work, a permitted DEC can take weeks and weeks. Once a state of emergency is declared, DEC can act literally the same day on granting permits, right? If you have a home that is in danger of being flooded and there is a way that you can divert the water and you need a permit to do that, the state agencies will be responsive. Likewise, agencies like the State Police, Office of General Services, once a state of emergency has been declared, they can accelerate contracting and waive regulations and guidelines in their agencies. Fifth, this is, as the county executive said, we have a short-term situation and a long-term situation. Short-term situation is potential flooding and how to avoid that and how to handle that. Long-term, I would like to say this will probably never happen again. I'd like to say that. I don't believe that to be the case. I can't tell you how many 100-year floods I've gone through in the past few years. There is no doubt that Mother Nature is roiled, and we're seeing extreme weather. Just to give you an idea, my 6 years as governor, I've had 9 weather-related emergencies. My father was governor for 12 years. He only had 11 weather-related emergencies. And during my father's tenure, the weather emergencies were high levels of snow on the thruway. There were no hurricanes, floods, Storm Irene, Storm Sandy. It didn't happen before, right? This is New York. We don't have hurricanes and tornadoes in New York. So there's no doubt that the weather patterns changed and there is extreme weather. And long term, we're going to have to prepare for it. And DEC is going to send coastal engineers now to look at the coastline. Let's start to prepare for a future where we have more flooding, and rather than respond on an emergency basis, let's respond on a strategic basis and look at where we have to build, break walls, etc., to stop the flooding. And DEC will be working on that simultaneously. There's a number that people can call if you need DEC's help, either short-term or long-term, or if you need a permit to do piping, etc., in your yard, 866-244-3839. As I said, we have a response team that's being assembled. We're not going anywhere. We'll be right here. We'll be here for the duration. If flooding does become a problem, we'll be in a position where we can bring all the resources to bear that we need, and the resources will be right here. I look forward to working closely with the county executive and the mayor, as we have in the past. The good news is this is not the first rodeo that New Yorkers have been through. We went through Storm Irene, Storm Sandy. We've had our share of emergencies. And the good news is that when things are at their worst is when New Yorkers are at their best. People really come together. And the people of this state come together like a family when people need help. And it's a beautiful thing to see. And we're not there yet. We're getting prepared. But whatever you need, people from all across the state will be there to help. With that, let me turn it over to Mayor Lovely Warren. Thank you.
There's not much that I can add to what the governor has already said, but thank you. As you all know, we have many residents and community members that are very concerned. I want to thank the county executive for her leadership, but I also want to make a note of what Governor Cuomo has just stated, that this is not an incident that we think is going to be the last one. You know, this year we went through a major windstorm and then a major snowstorm, and now we have these lake levels that are rising at rapid rates. And I am thankful that we have a governor that has come to Rochester time and time again to not only give us the resources, but to give us the support and give us the manpower that we need to be able to help our residents here. I'm grateful for the partnership that I have with the county executive and her leadership on helping us with our residents here in the county, as well as the city of Rochester. We are going to do everything to work in partnership with the state and the county to make sure that our residents get the resources and the support that they need. I am going to lend my DES Commissioner Norm Jones to the task force to work with the people that the governor has assigned to make sure that the city of Rochester's residents are also represented on a task force as well. We know that there are many people that are afraid right now, but I can tell you that we have a governor and a team here in government that is paying very close attention to this and acting on it, and doing everything that we can to alleviate the concerns of our residents as it pertains to the flood, but also the long-term implications that we know will be coming down the pike. So again, thank you, Governor Cuomo, for your support and for your resources and manpower that you're dedicating to this area, and thank you to the county executive again for her support and leadership on this matter.
In the spirit of partnership, we'll take any questions. I'll take the easy ones, and the hard ones I'll refer to the county executive and the mayor. Please.
Obviously, the big elephant in the room is if you've traveled up and down this area and spoken with people, they point at the IJC as one of the reasons why this lake flooding has happened. Some of the town supervisors, some of the people standing behind you. Have you talked to the IGC? What has your conversation been like with there, and where do you stand on that?
Yeah, the position of the IJC, well, let's take a step back for people who aren't familiar with all these acronyms. The question is, could there be a release of water that could actually reduce the potential flooding? The International Joint Commission could order a release, a dam release at the St. Lawrence. Their position is they're against that because this is not a situation just in Lake Ontario. It's all the Great Lakes. It's all the waterways. If they release more water from here, they'll increase flooding somewhere else. So they have turned down that request. I'm appealing that request, and I'm appealing to our federal delegation for help with the IJC. The state of New York doesn't have any representatives on it. It's basically a federal U.S.-Canada commission. So we don't have a voice, but I'm asking the federal officials for assistance because we have asked and they have refused.
No, sir, many have said that this is a man-made issue. This is a direct result of Plan 2014. Do you believe that is the result of this plan, and did you support that plan?
You know, I did not support the plan. I don't know exactly what caused it. Most people would point to the runoff and the rain, but different people have different theories. So I'm more focused, frankly, on preventing damage that might happen from flooding and to see if there's any possibility to get a water release from the IJC.
What about the other states around and the other provinces? Can they all be put together basically as a one voice saying, can we do something?
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do. The IJC's position, I don't agree with them, but just to relay their position is everybody is in the same boat, so to speak. And if everyone has this high level of water all across the Great Lakes, so there's nowhere to release the water to. Anywhere that we would release the water to is in the same position that we are in. So that's their answer.
Does the Lake Ontario response team, will that be able to spread out, say, to our West, Orleans, Niagara counties? Is this something specifically to Monroe, or is this something that can spread?
We will have as many resources as we need. We're assembling equipment. We're bringing resources from all across the state now, just in case we need it. As I said before, we've gone through this a few times as a state, and preparation is the key, right? You have to have all the equipment, all the personnel before the fact. Because if there's flooding, if there's a storm, it's too late to bring up personnel from Long Island, you know, and trucks that take 7, 8 hours to get here. So we're assembling everything as we speak.
Governor, what have you learned from the response to some of these other disasters that might come into play here? Maybe, obviously, down in New York, down there.
Well, look, we've had flooding all across the state at from different storms. As I said, this extreme weather is a real phenomenon. Where we've gotten caught before, frankly, is the state didn't have the sophistication when it came to emergency management. Partially because we didn't have the problems. You know, as I mentioned during my father's tenure, they didn't have a superstorm. There was no such thing as a superstorm, right? So they never went through an Irene and a Sandy and 7 feet of snow in Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo knows how to handle snow, but, you know, 7 feet. I don't know what we did to get Mother Nature that angry that she dropped 7 feet of snow on us. So we have a much more sophisticated, trained staff since then. We have better equipment since then. And the key in a situation like this is pre-positioning. To the extent you can get sandbags up now, which is what we're doing that. To the extent you can have pumps on site that if flooding starts, we're doing that. Boats to rescue people, we're doing that. High axle vehicles that can go through 3 or 4 feet of water. That's a special type of vehicle. We have those vehicles en route. So pre-positioning the equipment and the personnel, and that will do.
Just to clarify, you made the request to the IJC and they said no?
Yes.
And you talked a little bit about how you are concerned that these floods will become a pattern or have become a pattern. So is there anything else that you can do? Is there any other conversations you can have, you know, to sort of try and convince them otherwise?
Yeah. Well, just to put a finer point on it. The state of New York has requested of the IJC that they do a water release. They have said no. And again, their position, I don't agree with it, but just to state their position, it's that everybody's in the same situation. So you would, there's no way to release the water to that wouldn't do just as much damage as we're facing. I don't agree with that position. I'm appealing to our federal representatives because the state has no one on the commission. It's all national and Canadian. So I'm reaching out to our congressional delegation to intervene on our behalf. We are in the process of doing that literally as we speak. Long term, a situation like this, the shoreline is changing all over the state. It's changing downstate on Long Island. It's changing along the Hudson. You can either say, well, this is a 1 in 100-year flood, which literally I have been told 5 times in this job. Don't worry, this is a 1 in 100-year occasion. It'll never happen again. And then it happened again and again and again. I would take this as the given, the quote-unquote new normal, and to the extent I would expect to have flooding in the future, and let's make the modifications and the renovations that you have to make now to protect us in the future. If we have to build walls, we'll build walls. If we have to put in dunes, we'll put in dunes. Whatever it is, but I would not say to the people of Monroe, you know, don't worry, this is the last time this will happen, so let's just get through it. My guess is, and what most forecasters will say is, this is the new normal. This happens. Be prepared for it. Because the emergencies and the cost of the emergencies is actually more than doing the remediation work you need to do. I'd rather build a wall than fix the damage to hundreds of homes after a flood. Okay, and I want to thank the mayor once again and the county executive once again. These are not easy situations to handle. and I think their leadership has been extraordinary. So let's give them a round of applause. Thank you.